Okay. All right. Hello. Welcome to part 3 of playing the internship game. It's our last workshop, and we're about to finish it all up and wrap it all up for you. So yeah, let's get started. Before I start, same thing that we've said all the other 2 workshops is that you don't have to keep your camera on. No pressure to talk. We do want you to ask questions if you have them. Feel free to private message us or in the chat. Anything at all for you to answer them, even if they're not internship related. And then you'll get the slides and recording afterwards. And if you don't, please email us. All right, questions from the feedback form, because we do read your questions. We only got one this week, and it's not my favorite question, but can you do an example elevator pitch? Yeah, I can. Just a disclaimer, Christine. You're gonna be my recruiter right now, Christine.
Okay.
Just a disclaimer for everyone watching. This is my elevator pitch. This is by no means the format template elevator pitch you should go with. It's your elevator pitch. You can say what you want. I'm just gonna give a quick one for the question because I read the questions and I put them on the slides. A little bit of background. Christine, you are a recruiter from Raytheon. Do you know what Raytheon is?
Is it a defense?
It is a defense company that does primarily radars, but also works in space and missiles and defense and other glorious things like that. But you're a recruiter for the space side, okay, Christine?
Sure.
Okay. I'll let you start with the tell me a little bit about yourself question. So that's your line, Christine.
Okay. So tell me about yourself.
Yeah.
Do the hands thing.
Why are you doing the hands thing? Yeah, so my name is Vivian, pronouns are she, her. I'm going to be a second year at UCLA. I'm majoring in electrical engineering, looking to do my tech breath in CS. Christine, you didn't pretend you didn't hear that. At UCLA, I've been involved in a few different clubs, IEEE being one of them. Got to do a lot of beginner hands-on projects my first year, ending with my capstone project. That's a hand-falling car. Additionally, I was in SWE, Society of Women Engineers, got to be a part of mentorship and tech committee where I got to work in a smaller group to put on events, including Queer Hacks, which is MLH's first ever LGBTQ plus hackathon. With that, this year I'm going to be SWE's internal tech director. We'll get to lead this hackathon effort and get to work with my amazing team to do that. I guess in pertinence to Raytheon, my last summer I was an intern at Northrop Grumman. I currently have my top secret SCI clearance. All of you pretend you didn't hear that in the recording. I'm not supposed to say that out loud. And I worked as a payload test engineering for space systems. With that, I was able to do a lot of RF hands-on equipment, got to do a lot of test set, including work with PNA, calibrations, RF cable sweeps, using the spectrum analyzer, power meter, etc., as well as being able to support a lot of DC integration on the spacecraft. And so, yeah, I think that was a really great internship, but I'm also looking to see a lot more opportunities at Raytheon. I've heard from a lot of people at Northrop that Raytheon's a really great company culture, and I know that the projects you're working are super cool. And so, yeah, I just want to hear a little bit more about the closed projects that I can be a part of at Raytheon. Cool. Christine, no answer?
Pretty good. I mean,
pretty
like,
good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my elevator pitch. It's a bit on the longer side because I do touch a lot of different things. That's okay. It all depends on how you want to do it. That was just a demo elevator pitch. I'm also a bit tired and I didn't warm up for this. So that was my warm-up elevator pitch, but that's okay. All right, let's move on. What are we talking about today? Career fairs, finally. After the career fair, networking and how to play the game some more. All right, everyone's favorite topic, career fairs. Just a reminder that we're available to answer questions in the chat, both to everyone and privately. So what is a career fair to all the incoming freshmen? It's exactly what it sounds like a science fair where everyone has like tables and booths, but it's company recruiters who are there to specifically talk to UCLA students. And there are usually big events happening for engineering because you can go and talk to recruiters, network with them, hear about internship positions, apply, This is the biggest key to the game, I would say. But don't take that as like something that's really new. We'll walk you through everything. And so, hold on, backwards. Christine, why can I go backwards? Anyways, we don't know what's going to happen So we're going to go over both the in-person and virtual career fair. Let's start with in-person. It's going to be big. A career fair is really big. Some of them are smaller. Some of those are more intimate, like, particularly the EE career fair or major specific ones are smaller. But the big engineering one is usually in Ackerman. It's a lot of fun. I haven't been to it yet, so I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. But yeah, you just go up to talk to companies at different tables. The only con of an in-person career fair is that you have to wait, and you'll know when it's a career fair because you're gonna see a big ass line out of Ackerman. So yeah, virtually we kind of covered this last week, but you can sign up online via your Handshake account, which I hope all of you have done, and then you'll get emails about when their career fairs, and then you'll sign up on the virtual platform. You can schedule sessions one-on-one. Well, what is going on with that? Oh, it's about to do our drink at it. That's why. We're going with the green vibe today, so I drank Mountain Dew today. Anyway, yeah, so virtually I would say the best thing is that like you get to schedule one-on-ones with your with a recruiter or join 30-minute group sessions to just hear about companies. So you can kind of take either route. You get to craft your own schedule, whereas an in-person one's kind of more fluctuating. You don't really know how to predict your day, I would say. And then you can drop off your resume to companies, even if you didn't talk to them, just send them your resume. So yeah. So which one's better? Which one's gonna happen? We don't know, but we can talk about the pros and cons of each. The best things about in-person ones. Maybe it's easier to talk in person. I think it's easier too. I'm talking to a screen right now. Christine just also happens to be on the screen, so it's a bit easier. But you get swag. You get cool pens. I want swag. I didn't get any of that through a virtual career fair. But I guess kind of the cons of an in-person career fair is that it can be really nervous or nerve-wracking to talk in front of someone else who's an adult. Not to say we're not adults, but yeah. And then career fairs are a lot for the brain. There's a lot happening. You're gonna hear conversations from every corner, and it can be a lot just for people who are more introverted or such. But it has its perks. I'm not sure if it's going to happen because of like big crowds, big numbers. Question mark, who knows? But we should prepare for it if it does. Okay, a virtual one. When you set up schedules or schedule an appointment with your recruiter for like a 10-minute session, you're guaranteed that time. It's you and the recruiter. That's it. Your own room. No one's going to come in and distract you. Whereas it in-person one, you could be in a group situation. You could be alone. You could, I don't know, have a lot of different things going on. And so virtually, I think it's easier to time out. I know that when I plan a virtual career fair with my classes, I like knew when to schedule mine. So I can still go to class and then still do the career fair when I was not in class. Sorry. It was really the to do. I really shouldn't have done it, Christine. And then you only have to wear a nice shirt because you're only going to see the top half, and that's kind of nice. I know that some people don't like dressing up professionally. I get that. And then you can have your notes on paper, which is what I did because I couldn't remember a lot of things, and that was really helpful. In person, you can't exactly have that much notes in person, I would say. Like, you can't like read off of your elevator pitch, which you should not be doing anyways. But at least virtually you can have it like outlined in bullet points for you right there. And then the cons of virtual is that it's virtual. It's hard. We all know the cons of virtual by this point in time, so we don't have to keep being negative about things. Any questions so far? No? We're good? Okay. Chill. All right. When you're at the career fair, don't forget all the things we told you last workshop. And how to plan for it in your prep work and your researching, and practicing your elevator pitch. Everything we talked about last workshop, just remember that. Remember to take care of yourself. Career fairs are hard. They're anxiety inducing for all of us, but if you like to socially interact with people, it's great. That's how I like to think of it. And so it sometimes helps, sometimes doesn't. Depends on the person. All right, when you get to actually talk to recruiters, remember to be nice to them. It could mean the world to them, especially when they talk to hundreds of students each day. And then make sure that even when you end your elevator pitch or you end their conversation, you go to another table, like get their contact, write down their name or something, so that we can talk about what you're going to do with that after the career fair. And then, yeah, be nice. Recruiters are human too. Yeah. And so we're going to talk about how you can act during your career fair so that you make sure a recruiter can remember you. And so you want to leave a positive first impression. You're meeting this person for like the first time. You're probably going to talk to them for at most 10 minutes, probably not longer than that. And so you want to make sure you do things that boost you up, not bring you down. And so unspoken, you need to make sure in person you have good body language. You act like you want to be there. Tall posture, when you look down all the time, confidence is gonna drop, and you don't want to have that in front of a recruiter. And then yeah, dress professionally, dress for success, and just be really conscious of how you're acting and what your presence is in front of them, because people can feel that body language even if it's unspoken. And then when you talk, make sure that you sound like you're at least somewhat interested in their company. You don't have to be, but pretend you are for the hot moment. And then in person, you don't want to be screaming at them, although it may be loud, so you may have to scream at them. But just be really conscious of the volume you talk at, and then how fast you talk. It's easy to get nervous about it, but maybe you just gotta slow down the pace, take a deep breath, and then make sure you use professional language. Like, don't use slang, no red flags, just be really conscious of what you're saying. Any questions so far? No? I just got a question in the private chat. We'll talk about that in a bit. Okay. All right. Some more tips. Be on time. You don't want to leave your first impressions, oh shit, they were late. And then be confident, even as a first year, just go out there and try your best and have pride in the work you've done and the experiences you do have. And then some people like to bring a legal pad portfolio to in-person ones, just to, if you're a big hands person and you just want to hold something, that's a good thing to have with you. Yeah, it's hard, but you'll get used to it. After you do your first one, you're going to start realizing, oh yes, this makes a lot of sense. This is what I can change. This is what I cannot do. Such like that. Anything else about the career fair? No other questions?
What is the first question about? Or
we're going to cover
later?
it in the what ifs.
Okay, cool.
But did you get any questions?
No.
Okay. Any questions? Just chat us. All right, you good, Christine?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. How many? I'll take one question at a time. How many companies do people talk to in average at fairs? Depends on how much time you're going to spend at the career fair. And it depends on what companies you pick. If you pick bigger companies that you're going to have to wait in line for, you're not going to be able to talk to as many of them because you're going to be waiting in line. If you talk to smaller companies that are more empty, maybe you'll get to hit more of them. It depends on how you strategize your career fair plan.
Yeah.
On average.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
For more like popular companies, like, the big names, at least for software recruitment, I'd say that like the wait time can range up to like an hour out of like, for example, like a 3-hour recruitment career fair. Yeah, that's true. So not worth it in my opinion, but if you really want to shoot your shot, then you have the option.
Yeah, it all depends on what you want. And then we did talk about this last workshop on if you should go to a big company or a small company at your career fair. Because believe it or not, I think last workshop was a lot more important than this one. This one talks about how you actually do things at the career fair, but your prep work makes all the difference, and your planning does as well. So I would say definitely go back, take a look at the sites, and really consider, who you do want to talk to. How much time can you commit to each kind of session with the company? And you have to be able to make decisions like that on the fly. You can go into a career fair with every plan. I'm going to talk to this, but it can all change. What if that company's not there anymore? Who knows? What if you start off on a wrong foot and then you want to kind of switch it up? You have to be able to think on your feet and adapt to that.
And if you're not great at like flash decisions, you could just come in with like plans like A, B, and C and kind of move from there as like a starting point at least.
All right, and I have a question. When do they usually hold the first career fair? October, sometime. Then you'll know when the first career fair is happening.
They advertise it pretty heavily.
Yeah. Don't worry, you're not gonna miss it. even if you tried.
You can't escape from it. UCLA really
Um,
shoves internship like opportunities down your throat if you look for them. So
but you should think that as a good thing because there's so many opportunities for you. I know it's easy to think of internships as like, oh my god, I'm competing with everyone to get a position. Companies are hiring, especially after the pandemic. There's a lot of openings. Like these are really, even if the career fair is really stressful for you, like this is a really great opportunity to just go out there and try your best with it. Oh, this is a good question. I really like this question.
mhm.
I wish you did private messages, but what's the biggest mistakes you made at career fairs? Oh, this is a good
Okay.
one.
uh
Biggest mistake. Do you have one, Christine?
the career fair that comes to immediate mind is like the ACM, major ACM one. So I went and fucking waited for Blizzard and Facebook, and that took like I
Blizzard?
was there until like it wrapped up, and I only got to talk to like those two companies. So I'm re-emphasizing my previous point about not sticking to big name companies, even if like the numbers of people going there are higher than like most other places. Like that's exactly the opposite of what you want as probably a new prospective intern. So yeah. And yeah, there are many other things I can probably cite, but Vivian, go ahead.
So I've never really done the big company thing or waiting in line. So I wouldn't say that's my mistake, which I'm glad that you take on that perspective, Christine. But I think some of my biggest mistakes were not being prepared. Um, and that was due to a lot of different factors, like my life or school or other things in the way. Like I sometimes I went to talk to companies, I'm like, dog, I don't even know what to ask you. Like, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know anything about you. I should just go. And then because I didn't know that much about the company, I couldn't really interact with the recruiter on like a really good level or connecting level because it's like I'm trying to figure out what to do, and if I like it, then I'll see. But I think that's my biggest mistake, as well as your first few career fairs, you're gonna mess up on some elevator pitches. You're gonna stumble. You're gonna say or answer some things wrong. That's a part of the process. That's a good question. I like that one. Um. All right, you ready to go into what ifs?
Yep. All right. Okay. So we can just start off with what ifs about career fairs in general. So since things are pretty much up in the air with just everything, even going from like virtual to in-person career fairs, and you guys probably have a lot of questions about like what the load of classes will be now that things are like gradually moving back to in-person, and also choosing your own extracurriculars. So we're trying to address a few of these questions that you might have with the following slides. So, okay, what if I miss a career fair? It's not the end of the world. There's, like we said earlier, there's going to be plenty throughout, especially I think fall quarter and winter quarter. And like honestly, career fairs never really stop. So if you look hard enough, there will always be places where you can like test out and sharpen like your interviewing skills. And yeah, like they happen pretty regularly. So major ones have like set points of like, happening like a few months from each other, but there are definitely places that are always recruiting. Not to mention that you can also try applying to places on websites and just doing your own research. And usually those positions have no set deadline. It's just that, they're accepting applications on like a rolling basis. So you really have a chance unless they've updated the page with having found like someone for the suitable position. Yeah, and there are info sessions about career fairs that certain companies will be attending, or yeah, clubs also do their own info sessions. Like the career fair that I mentioned earlier from ACM, I know that they were advertising for like a month-ish beforehand. So if you join things like them, they'll definitely let you know. What if I don't have enough time to research companies? So this is actually one of the mistakes I was like thinking of bringing up, but like not researching enough about the company and the position that you want, but that's okay. like as a mistake, that's fine to make. And it's again like a learning process. And you just realize now that you have to do a little bit more digging about the background of the company, as well as like, what exactly the recruiters for that position are looking for. And just going to the career fair itself is a good chance to ask them questions to learn more about the company. So in the case that most career fairs honestly only tell you to go to online and apply to their like website or something, and take the in-person or virtual career fair time as a chance for you to kind of ask more about questions that you won't find the answers to necessarily on their main website or through research that you might do. And yeah, just something to learn from making that mistake is to know that you should be prioritizing your time and not like randomly shotgun places. Like I know that that's a strategy a lot of people say is valid, and it kind of is, but also try not to do that, because quality over quantity always. What if I'm late to the career fair? So if we're talking about it happening in person, people are late because of long wait times. So long wait times being like, I know that even actually for virtual, there were cases where, like I said earlier, I had to like stay past the career fair closing time to like get to talk to someone, and that just is more prevalent in more in-person career fairs as well. But it's okay. Like missing the career fair, for example, because you're late is like completely fine. And honestly, recruiters won't know that you come late because like most people are in lines for so long anyways that they don't know when you joined. They don't know when you came in first. And speaking virtually, if you're late to your scheduled one-on-one, you can still kind of come in like late, maybe a few like minutes. Like the interviews that recruiters ask for aren't that long, but you can at least get started talking to them and asking them questions about the company. And if you like don't want to show up because you have like things come up, then that's okay too. You just should send them a follow-up email detailing like what happened and like if you can reschedule if that's something that you want to do. What if you don't know where to go? So in person, that's fine. Like I don't think this would be a really big issue for in-person things because there are just so many people walking around in suits and like lined up for places that you will know exactly where things are happening. But you can also just ask around with other people and probably like be able to find where exactly on campus it's happening. It's generally Ackerman though. And virtually, if you don't know where to go, make sure that you know where to go beforehand, because signing up for like the platform that you're going to have your interview on the spot, like when it's supposed to happen, is like a big red flag to recruiters. But again, it's not the end of the world. You can still get into asking questions, even if you come in late. But yeah, basically the lesson here is that you should be doing your due diligence and researching everything before you jump into your interview. What if you stumble on your elevator pitch? That is completely okay. That is expected, especially since most of us don't really have experience delivering elevator pitches. So just kind of take a moment, take a deep breath, and then keep going. And that's really, recruiters just want to see that you're able to at least keep the momentum going after you stumble. So just relax is the it's not a make or break situation. Like it's usually use your interviews as a place for you to improve for the next company that you choose to talk to at career fairs. And it's completely natural. Again, recruiters understand because they're human as well. And they've also had to go through that first step of getting used to elevator pitches, and just keep going, keep going. What if I don't own a suit? So you could at least, you don't have to spend money renting out like an entire suit, or if you're, if you guys are all moving to on-campus dorms and stuff, make sure to bring one set of business formal, I think, but you could at least try wearing business casuals, and just in general, try to carry yourself with like an air of professionality, because recruiters can tell. And that's honestly why people wear the suits like in the first place. So don't let it kind of like seem like you're at a disadvantage to yourself because you don't have the necessary, wear. But yeah, again, it's all about that presence, that aura. And as long as you can deliver on that, you're fine. What if I don't vibe or really connect with my recruiter? That's okay. Like it's not expected that you'll be able to connect with your recruiter in like what, like how long do they give you in like in person? Like 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Yeah, generally. And it's like that's completely expected. Just again, don't expect to be like 100% a match and like, seem 100% charismatic to every single recruiter you come up to. But yeah, just kind of test out and reflect after said recruiting, I guess, interview. Like, is this company really right for you? Was it just the person that you didn't vibe with, or did you not come off as like interested enough or passionate enough because do you really care about that company and said position? So just use that as an evaluating point for which companies you actually do want to work at, and focus on the companies that you feel that you did have a stronger connection to, even if it's not 100% there. That might have been because of like initial awkwardness or just any other factors. But at the end of the day, take it as a learning opportunity.
I'll add right now that like I know a lot of us go into the career for like, oh, like I need the recruiter to pick me. As you continue to play the game and you get a lot more experience and more companies want you, you get to pick your company. And so you also get a big choice, and the recruiters are also trying to impress you. And so keep that in mind too, because you also have a lot of power in your place as the students going to talk to recruiters.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, sounds good. Anything else? I think this is any what ifs. Any questions about the what if questions?
Any other what ifs?
Yeah, any other what ifs?
Yeah.
We tried to think about common what ifs. I'm sure all of you have some questions.
Let me see if I can think of one. I had one earlier and it was about like in-person career fairs, but it has completely slipped my mind.
What if career fairs are hybrid? I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, that's my answer to that.
Oh God, hybrid career fairs.
I don't think it's going to happen because that's going to be so chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot of the what ifs. We get to move on post-career.
Oh wait,
yes.
One really quick question. What if you have the option of choosing between like an in-person or virtual, like you said, hybrid format? Then just pick whichever session you feel like is best suited to your interviewing style or like your general, what you're comfortable with. Because like for interviews that are in person and virtual, like I think we listed out the pros and cons earlier. So just follow like a list of what you know that you're comfortable with and how much you're ready to push yourself from your boundaries. Yeah. And we can just move on to post-career fair, I think. So things that you should do after attending your career fair. So remember how we said after you're done with your interview, you should have your recruiter's like name and like hopefully basic contact information. What you should do with that information is that you should go on LinkedIn and connect with them, or even better, just email them and send them a message saying that you talked to them at the specific career fair that you went to and that you're interested in XYZ position and that you'd like to connect and like move forward with whatever their recruitment process is. And so you want to do this in a timely manner. So probably at least 24 hours after the career fair, if soon, like, well, the sooner the better, because
within those first 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want the recruiter to be able to remember you. And honestly, after like interviewing probably like hundreds of students, they will not remember you by like your face. So yeah, just make sure to keep the ball rolling and always send them a message regardless of how you feel the interview went, because they might have gotten a different impression from you than you thought. And aside from messaging, just take a break, at least because it is very mentally and in the case of in-person, physically taxing, because of just how many people there are. And in the case of in-person, you've probably also overheard like a lot of different interviews going on from people who you might feel insecure like interviewing with. But yeah, you did great. You did great going to a career fair. Going to your first career fair is like always a big step, and it takes a lot of courage to do that. So just accept that you did great and recover. Take time to recover and rest. And after you've done that, just take a little bit more time to reflect on everything that happened during your interactions before and like actually during the career fair, and think about whether you actually accomplished what you like wanted to, or did you do everything that you wanted to do in terms of like mentioning things with the recruiter, and did you talk to all the did you get to all the companies that you wanted to talk to? What went well? What could you have improved on? And I think I brought up a few more things to consider in my previous slides, but yeah, just think up of what you've learned from that career fair to so that you can adjust your focus for any future opportunities. And yeah, these are just some hopefully helpful career fair links from UCLA resources. And yeah, I think they're supposed to lead to like, oh, the UCLA virtual service is like a really helpful thing for interviews, because I know that they have like a interview prep portal they can test out. So yeah, and they also have a resume reviewer too. So okay.
Questions about post-career fair? I know it's hard to think about, oh, why would I think about post-career fair when I haven't even gone to the career fair yet? But it's good things to keep in mind. Questions, concerns, thoughts? No? Anything? All right, we can keep going.
Oh, and don't beat yourself up if you can't get the name of the recruiter. Like that's fine. So along the vein of post-career fair, you want to network. And this is one of the things we talked about in our LinkedIn slides, I think last week. But networking is just a way for you to get connections with people who are recruiters or that you might know through friends and be able to reach out. And so interacting with others to develop your professional network on places like LinkedIn or like any other social contacts is how you're going to be able to like get introduced to like new jobs or like new positions. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with recruiters. I think we mentioned this last time as well, but just connect with people who you've met through like clubs or your peers, upperclassmen, and just kind of spread your professionally social presence. And keep in mind that you shouldn't be, this doesn't mean that you should be networking with like every single person you know. Network with people who can attest to your professional skills, but know that this should be like a continually expanding, like always growing thing that comes with increased experience. And so even if this continues, even if you're not necessarily attending a career fair, and so just because you don't go out to like recruiting events like career fairs, that doesn't mean that networking stops for you. Like you should always be expanding your network through doing things like talking to upperclassmen or like just interacting with people in clubs. And yeah, the whole point of a networking system is for you to be able to get connections for like future job opportunities and things. So just keep that in mind and know that even though the career fair is a good place for you to go to these connections, you don't necessarily have to go to one to do that. And some general helpful networking tips. So refresh up on old connections, especially for recruiters. Like if you've connected with them, like for example, for like your first career fair, and it looks like they actually have a position from that same company that you might be interested in, just feel free to reach out to them not regularly, but like once in a while. And another tip is to find a networking group or like a community that you can kind of find those professional connections with. And tactful proactivity. Oh my God, why did I write that? I can't even pronounce it. What?
I was just saying tactful proactivity, and I was like, I don't think I was saying that right. It doesn't sound right, but I guess you said it right. So I was like,
It is tactful proactivity. So this is the case of like, you being the first person to extend your connections with, but also not overdoing it. Like sending messages to people are fine. And that's like a good, valid way. And that we encourage that. But don't keep sending messages if it feels like a recruiter is ignoring you, because that's probably on purpose. You don't want to spam them or look like it, or like, I guess, get them annoyed. Be a good listener when at career fairs, because, well, or when at career fairs, or when you're talking to them through messages. And again, quality over quantity. So meaningful conversations about like whatever position you want from a recruiter versus, sending the same message with like changed terms to like every single recruiter and not really following up on that.
all right, I have a little question for us. Should we talk to the recruiter / go to the career fair before applying? This is a great question. It is up to you. You can go to the career fair, talk to them, and they, oh, like, what can I apply for? And they may know their rec numbers and availabilities better than we do as strangers looking at their online platform. So that's one way you can go, or you can apply to a rec number and then go to the recruiter and be like, hey, like I applied for this rec number, like this is blah, blah, what I'm interested in, this is what I want to do. You can go 2 ways.
What's
It's
a
up to
rec
you.
number?
The rec number. Oh, so when you apply online, like you have the job title, right? So you get like electrical engineering intern, right? But each one has a different job ID or rec number, or rec number stands for requisition number. And so in the system, it's just a number, an ID that like identifies that specific job opening. And so you can go to your recruiter and tell them, hey, like I applied for this rec number, or you can ask them, like, hey, like which ones do you recommend? Because they're going to know their rec numbers a lot better than we do. So you have 2 options, up to you.
And also when it comes to, I guess, reaching out to and researching your recruiters, like don't come off as that creep that's like done way too much research into like your recruiters' personal lives, because that is definitely a mistake that I've seen happen, and it is not pretty. Like don't do that, please.
You should tell me this story now after this workshop. You've seen it happen? Dang. Okay. All right. Any more questions before we move on? All right. Game strategies. Remember, we started this workshop as kind of creating this lens of playing a game, and we've kind of held that throughout this. It's called playing the internship game. And so we kind of want to close it off where we started, and that's game strategies on how to play the game like we talked about in the beginning. And so if you remember all the different parts of this workshop, you can do the different pieces, tasks, and strategies for each part of the game. So now we're going to look at the game as a whole thing. And your strategy, I would say, is different. Everyone goes about playing the game differently, and that's okay. You can watch how your peer does it, but don't go copy your peer, because that may not be how you want to play the game. And if you don't know how, or you're still looking for other strategies, ask around. Ask recruiters, ask alumni, ask your peers, like, hey, like, what are you doing? How can I learn from you? And just keep going. And so those are kind of the ways you can develop, and just keep those pieces updated. Your resume, cover letter, LinkedIn, keep going with those. Those aren't static things. I'm not saying you to change that every day of your life, but when you start, getting more club opportunities, or you start getting more skills from classes, like, don't forget about those. Like, those are really good things to put in your resume. And so some more strategy reminders. Oh, I'm really tired. Maybe you don't want a strategy. That's okay. No one said you have to have one. Not even us. We just told you don't have to have one. It's whatever works for you. It's your path. Everyone's path is different, and that's probably the hardest thing to remember at UCLA is because everyone's on their own path, I would say, not on their own. I didn't cut off the sentence right there. Your career path is gonna be different from everyone else, and be proud of that. You know? Even if it is different from everyone else, like we're all here to support you no matter what. So I'll tell you a little bit more about my strategy as an incoming freshman, because I know that a lot of you are incoming freshmen. And I did mention in my elevator pitch earlier this workshop that I did have an internship as an incoming freshman, and I get a lot of questions of like, how did I do it? So we'll talk about it. I took kind of the internship game pretty seriously my freshman year. I knew that I wanted a work opportunity, an internship opportunity. So I started in the summer, right about now, crafting my resume, all of that. And in the beginning, it was probably really terrible. I look back at it and like, oh God, what was I doing? But throughout the year, as I went to more resume workshops and got a lot more feedback from everyone, it started to improve a lot. And then career fair season hit, and I did put a lot of time and effort into managing those career fairs and those sessions. And I went with the mindset, hey, I'm going to try my best. I'm going to go out there, shoot my shot, see what I can get, be who I am, and learn how to play this game. Because I thought of it as a game as a freshman. It's like, it's the same thing with just college. College can be seen as a game. The moment you know how to play it right, you're going to win. And so I thought of it as a game. I'm going to make sure I go do these certain things and do my best. And I got a lot of things back, even though I was a freshman. So I don't want any of you to be discouraged, like, oh, freshmen are going to get interviews. Like, you are if you try your best and you put time into the game, if you so desire. You don't have to. And so I did get a lot of interviews, and I did get an internship. I got it through a referral into the company, and then I interviewed with them. So I interviewed with Northrop Grumman, and I had an internship with them. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about referrals and how that kind of changes the game a bit. So what is a referral? It's when somebody who already works in the company, there's no pressure. Yes, there's no pressure for you to get an internship your first year. Absolutely not. There's none. Do not think that there is. I don't want to come off as like someone who said that. Also, Christine, I'm sorry, I felt like I was yelling at you. I was not. I was just like, yes, like that's so true. Like, so many people feel pressure, but like it's okay. There's so many other opportunities. You can play the research game, you can do classes, you can do your own projects. There's so many things, guys. An internship is not the end of the world. But anyways, back to the referrals. So when someone in the company refers you in, and so people think, we'll talk about a little bit what people think about referrals, but it can mean a lot of different things in different companies. It works differently everywhere. So it's hard to say what a referral into Amazon look like or what a referral into Google looks like, because I may never know. No one ever knows, to be honest. But how do you get one? You can connect with alumni, get a good relationship with them, ask them about where they work. And once you feel like you're a comfortable level with them, that they know you and your experiences and your professional skills, and you can ask them, hey, like, am I able to get a referral? I'm really interested in this company that you're working for. You can ask your family members. If you have family members in the industry and you like their company, then go ahead and do that. Sorry. And then you can ask upperclassmen. You know, a lot of upperclassmen have had internships. Who knows what a referral from an intern looks like? I don't know. It doesn't ever hurt to try. And so you have to network. That's why we talked about this before we talked about getting referral. Build your network, see what you can get. You never know who's going to come back and help you in the future. So what do people think? There's a common myth that when you get a referral, you're cheating. People think it gets you in the door and that's it. But I would say a lot otherwise. It helps you get in the door, yes, but it doesn't keep you in the doorway or in the hallway. Because even if you get a response back from the recruiter saying, hey, like I saw your resume from this referral, your resume still has to be up there. Your resume still has to be a good fit for the company, still has to be tailored. Your cover letter still has to be tailored. And you still have to interview with them and show that you're interested in this. You still may not get the job, even if you have a referral. And so I don't think it's cheating. I think it's a way to move up in the game and to play it and to leverage your connections and build your network. And it's how you do things. A referral is not going to give you a win automatically, you know? So don't think of it as cheating, because it's not. We're good? Okay. All right. Continuing to play the game. Game never stops. There's no end date. Doesn't happen when you graduate. Because hey, you may get a job outside when you graduate, but hey, that may not be the job you want for your whole life. That's okay. You keep playing the game. When you get into the industry, you can play a different game. That's a whole different workshop about how you negotiate benefits and pay and stuff. But just to remind you, you don't have to play the game if you don't want to. If this is overwhelming for you, don't like focus on class, focus on having friends and making that transition your first year. Like that's so much more important than getting an internship right now. And at the end of the day, like think about where all of you are in as incoming freshmen. Because Christina and I were also just in your spot like yesterday, to be honest. You're fresh out of high school. You're like 17, 18. You have your whole life ahead of you to work. And this is your time to have fun, and to party, and to grow. This is a lot of time for growth and adversity to challenge you and see how much you can push yourself. And this is a lot of time for you to find who you are, like deep down, like seriously, like what your identity is and who you are. Like it's not just about internships. College is a whole experience that can probably not be explained in words pretty well, but only through experiences. And there's so much more to this game. We know we want to thank you for coming to this workshop all 3 parts, but there's so much more to this. Like please just always remember that, and that the game isn't end all be all. And then yeah, because today's workshop was focus on career fair, so it's after the career fair. That was kind of the last piece and task we gave you. And there's just more. It's just building up all the other pieces, and then you have interviews with companies, and we'll probably talk more about that in the fall in tech community. So stay along with us until the fall. We'll also have a lot more workshops in the fall, so don't forget about us. You'll see us soon. But yeah, there's always more in the game if you want to play. And then a few last reminders. You play at your discretion, your pace, no one else's. You can win, even if you feel like you're a beginner. Experience takes time. You got to play the game to get experience, and that's okay. The path is going to be full of mistakes and stuff, but just take all those and learn from it. And we're here to help you in any way possible. That's why we wanted to give you a 3-part workshop in the middle of August, September. And we're here to support you. So if you ever have any questions about anything, shoot us an email. Like we'll respond to you. There's 2 of us. Of course we can. And any other resources we can give you, like we will. We'll do our absolute best to help you. And everyone in SWE will as well. That's my daily street plug in all these workshops. I almost forgot it today, but I did not, Christine. Everyone in SWE and everyone at UCLA is willing to help you with anything you need in terms of career growth and stuff. So don't be scared to ask questions. We're here to help you. And before we end, we just want to say thank you to all these people on SWE, in SWE, who have reviewed our slides, all 3 workshops. They've been incredibly helpful for all of us in helping us give you the best slides forward. So Spurthy, Heidi, Karina, Rithka, Morgan, thank you so much. Y'all are the best. We couldn't have done it without you. And you're here, but that's okay.
If you guys join SWE, you guys will probably see them around. So just shoot them up, tell them hi. Yeah.
Connect with them on LinkedIn. If you know them and you start to get to know them. But for all of you to know, we are a tech community. So Christine and I run tech community in SWE. Spurthy does internal affairs in SWE families as student relations director. So that's an opportunity for you to network in a committee. SWE communities are great networking opportunities because it's just a lot smaller of an environment. You're actually doing a lot of work. Not a lot of work. I don't want to scare you. You're doing work. You are doing some work in the group environment, and that's some really good types of connections. Heidi is RAR, so recruitment and alumni relations. She's really amazing. She doesn't have a committee. She has no one helping her. So if you're interested in doing that, like hit her up. Morgan runs mentorship. That's where you've seen me and Morgan together in mentorship committee things. Probably seen Morgan's emails a lot for those of you from mentorship program this summer. And Rithika is our EVP, and she'll be running a lot of the company info sessions and stuff like that. And then we're us. You'll hear from us a lot. SWE is amazing. Join SWE. It's a great networking opportunity and a great place to grow and learn. Mm-hmm. But thank you to the 5 of you for helping us with our slides. Much appreciated. We miss you. But yeah. Okay. enough on the side. They get too much. We spoil them. If you have any questions at all, feel free to email us, Team Tech. And then please fill out the feedback form. Please, please, please. If you have any direct questions about the workshop or about slides, like send us an email, not the feedback form, because we don't know who you are on the feedback form. So we
Yeah.
can't exactly get back to you that way. But just shoot us an email. Like, we're not scary. We promise. And then if you didn't get any of the slides, email so that we can send it to you. And then you'll get the post-event update from this workshop. And you'll get all 3 parts of the game, or the game slides. And yeah. Any questions from anyone about any of the parts of the game?
We ended 5 minutes early. Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought I went way over time, but apparently not.
Any questions from anyone? If not, we want to say thank you so much to all of you for coming tonight. And for so many of you who have stayed throughout all 3 parts of this workshop, we hope it was helpful. But thank you for attending. It means a lot to us. But if there's no questions, we're free to go. We hope you enjoy your Thursday night, long weekend with the Labor Day holiday, so get some rest before we start school. But thank you so much to all of you, and we'll be here if you have any questions about anything at all.
Oh, and feel free to hit us up like when career fairs like actually start. Like our inboxes are open for like any time. So there might be questions.
Our LinkedIn's are open.
Yeah.
Practice sending your messages now.
Oh my god.
If you need a LinkedIn headshot, hit me up. Yeah, we're here to help you. Oh, thank you all.
Nice.
Any questions? Comments? Concerns?
Last minute thoughts. Was that the person that stayed over last time too? Was it first part? Okay.